I gotta preach, I gotta preach, I gotta preach. Every one of us are born with gifts and a call. We all are. It'll drive you. It is a purpose in your life. After I come to know the Lord, it was one of the most comforting things to me that my life took on a purpose.
You are calling me, I can hear it clearly, to stand for purity and what's pleasing to your heart. You are showing me, I can see it clearly, a sense of destiny, a change from everything around. Take me by the hand and show me what you're planning. I wanna be a part of your design. Guide me by the heart and show me what's the future. I wanna leave a mark on history. I wanna be used by you.
I finally felt like my life had taken on a purpose.
I wanna be used by you.
If you're supposed to be learning, learn. If you're supposed to be doing, do. Start somewhere and go.
Don't look me over, I'm waiting for you broken. I wanna be used by you. Yeah. So have your way.
Every one of us are called. We all are born into this world with gifts, whether we ever use them or not.
You are calling me, I can hear it clearly, to stand for purity and what's pleasing to your heart.
Those gifts need to be being used.
You are showing me, I can see it clearly, a sense of destiny, a change from everything around.
Be about your Father's business.
Take me by the hand and show me what you're planning. I wanna be a part of your design.
I'm gonna believe that we will see the kingdom come to earth. I'm gonna believe the signs and wonders follow hearts that burn. I'm gonna believe that sickness, sin, and poverty will cease. I'm gonna believe the power from the heavens will release. Oh, let your kingdom come on earth, and let your will be done. Yeah, light up the world with your love. Rain down on our hearts like a flood. Our eyes will see the glory of God. Our eyes will see. And I'm gonna believe the fathers and their children will unite. I'm gonna believe that marriage will not end without a fight. I'm gonna believe that churches will become your hands and feet. I'm gonna believe that acts of love and kindness will increase. Oh, let your kingdom come on earth, and let your will be done. Yeah, the glory of God, our eyes will see. Can you hear the sound of angels singing, the sound of angels songs? Let us join the sound, let us join the singing, let us join the song. Holy, holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord. Can you hear the sound of angels singing, the sound of angels songs? Let us join the sound, let us join the singing, let us join the song. Holy, holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord. Holy is the Lord.
I've got to keep this kind of quiet because we're sneaking around behind Pastor Bob's back, trying to make this little film up about things that we remember about Bob. And I'm sitting in Bob's bedroom in his chair while he's currently in the front room, so I've got to keep this quiet. But anyhow, I met Pastor Bob about 20 years ago, and I went to work with Pastor Bob about 18 years ago. That was back in the day when Pastor Bob had a lot more hair than he's got now. But I got to see an angle of Pastor Bob that not everybody gets to see. I worked with him on a daily basis for about 2 years, so I got to see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I was always impressed with how Bob handled himself. I saw him in some pretty tight situations, and I was always proud of the way he handled himself. I'm sure he looks back and he's probably maybe not quite so excited about how some things went, but hey, we're all human, and I got to see the human side of him. But I enjoyed all that time we had together, and I wouldn't trade those years for anything. And not only is Pastor Bob my pastor, but he's a dear friend of mine, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, Pastor Bob, and I just want you to know that I love you, and that I'm glad to be a part of your congregation and plan on being there for many more years to come. I love you, and we'll see you later.
I was asked to bring up my first recollection of Bob. As I remember, we were having Bible study at our house, and these boys from Carthage came to our house, and there were 3 of them that came, I believe. It's been a long time ago, 25 years or more probably. Anyway, and as they came, they come to find out he was there to see a young lady that was always at our house, and they were seeing what was happening there between them, I guess. And I sat back and watched what was going on, a little bit protected because she was just like a daughter to me. And as time went on, I was seeing and feeling that as God spoke to my heart that he was all right. And this was Bob, and he has become since then a very important part of my life in many ways. And I just want to make sure that I honor him today with the feeling that I have in my heart for him and the respect I have for him and the things that he does and the many areas in my life that he's been there for me. And I know he's prayed for me in a time when I was not serving God. And as I saw and felt the call again in my life to return to what God had in store for me, that I know Bob was praying for me through that. And I believe that he was instrumental in bringing me back to a place in my heart where God was first place. And through many things that happened, and he was there, and he's been there. And I know at a time when I was not very well physically, that the first ones there to pray and to be there was Bob. And I know that he has lifted me up, and I know today I am here because of the prayers of Bob and others that spoke to God's heart, and he did take care of me and brought me through that. And I'm very thankful for the things that Bob has meant to me in so many ways. And I respect him and love you, Bob, for who you are and what you mean to me in my life.
I'm going to try to keep this on a lighter note because I will start crying. Bob means a lot to me. He never gave up on me. I've been here and I've been there, and until he offered his house to me to live with them and to learn how to be a man, the man of God that I am right now, is priceless. And I wouldn't be the man I am today without him. He taught me how to be a man of God, a spiritual covering, a husband, and a dad. He taught me everything. I wouldn't be the man I am today without it. I know that. I love him like a dad, and I have the most honor for him from every part of from me. Thank you. I love you.
Bob, you told me years ago to not put you on a pedestal because you were just human and that you would fail me. It's been a lot of years, and I know you're just human, but you have never failed me, ever. And I appreciate and am thankful for the spiritual covering that you have always been there for me, and your character is par none, and I love you.
Hey Bob.
Hi, Bob.
I guess the first time that we were around Bob and met Bob was whenever Jacob played football for the Jets. And
Go Jets.
it was a great experience. It made a big impact on Jacob's life. And when you turn your kid over to somebody, and that's huge for a mom. And I saw Bob work through those kids and what he did in those kids, and I watched Bob and Julie both and what in their lives and in their kids. And then we weren't going to church here, and we really didn't know anything about the church, and it was Brian's decision for us to come to church here. You want to talk about that?
And well, we decided, we've heard a lot of good things about LFMC, and we both decided to start going to church there, and we both really love it. And you guys have just been awesome, really changed our lives. Instead of looking for something to do on Sunday mornings, I decided it was more fun to go to church and listen to Bob and Julie.
It's been a huge difference in our lives and our kids' lives. It's been the lifeline. It's what's kept us. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for you and Julie. And we appreciate everything, and more than you'll ever know. We love you.
Hey, Bob. In my life, I tried several times to figure out who Jesus was, what he was like, and what I was supposed to be doing. And I struggled and I failed, but then there was a point in my life when I was a sophomore in college that a friend invited me to Lamar Family Ministries. When I walked through the doors at LFMC as a sophomore in college, I heard this voice in my head that said, "Welcome home." I didn't actually think God could speak to you, so that was a really, really big deal. And then I continued to go and hear this Pastor Bob guy preach, and I learned more in one sermon than I felt like I had in years at other places, which started me on this journey of finding out why did Jesus make me? What was I called to do? What was the purpose of my life? And of all the amazing things that Jesus has done, the best thing he's done for me is he gave me you as a spiritual father, as a mentor, as a teacher. That was about 7 years ago. And between then and now, you've seen my ups, you've seen my downs, but you have always been the most amazing, covering, and encouraging spiritual father. Now, there were times that I was confused and had no idea what I was talking about. But you and Julie would allow me to come out to your house and spend hours keeping you up till 3 a.m., 4 a.m., just to answer questions I had about the Bible or questions I had about Jesus. And you know, all glory goes to Jesus and all glory goes to God. But if you're not in my life, I don't know where I am. I know I am not even in the discussion of the minister that God has called me to be, that you have helped train and refine and teach. I have no idea how to be a biblical husband without seeing you and how you are with your family. And the thought of raising kids could be the most terrifying thing ever, except for you and Julie have set an example for Amber and I. So to be honest, Bob, if I could say one thing, thank you for being my pastor. Thank you for being my teacher. But most of all, thank you for being my spiritual father. You are the single biggest thing of forming and creating the man of God that Jesus is doing in me. And thank you for everything.
Well, Bob, I just want to say thank you for all that you have done for me. You took a broken little girl who had no self-esteem, who didn't know who she really was, and thought she didn't amount to a whole lot. And you taught me to go to the Word and to see myself the way the Lord sees me, and I did. And I'm the woman today because of that Word. I'm a successful, confident woman. I'm a good mother and I'm a good wife because of the words of life that you spoke. And I want to say thank you for answering the call, because I would not be here today if it were not for you. And I want to thank you for being the awesome father that you've been to me and the awesome covering that you've been to me. I love you so much. And I want to say thank you once again for all that you've done for me.
Well, I first met Bob. He was a youth pastor for me, and I probably met him at a very rough time in my life. I was a church kid, had grown up in church, but for some reason I really struggled fitting into our youth group there at the church. I just didn't fit in with those kind of kids. I was pretty rough around the edges and actually going through a pretty rebellious time in my life. The thing about Bob that drew me into him and allowed me to trust him was that he never judged me. He just loved me. He never tried to make me fit a mold of a youth group. He never came at me with any type of condemnation. And for my personality, that was just really what I needed. And so that was the beginning of my relationship with Bob. And as the years would go by, it was just like I would go different places or maybe move, but our paths always seemed to cross again. And then obviously he ended up marrying Julie, and then once again they were a key component in my life when I moved back to Nebraska and they were pastoring up there. I was still only maybe on a deeper level in a darker time of my life and in a very dysfunctional relationship. But again, the constant factor with Bob in my life was he never judged me. He always saw past the outer core and saw into the core of my heart and pulled that out of me. And so, and then obviously, most of you know, I ended up marrying Jeff, who is Julie's brother. So we came full circle, and now Bob and I are actually brother and sister-in-law. And but I want to say, before I end this, that I am who I am today, and Bob has played a big part in that. And I have sat under some of the most amazing pastors that there are out there. I sat under Pastor Tommy Barnett. I've sat under my own father that I esteem very highly. And then now I'm sitting under probably one of the other most amazing pastors that there's ever been. And I'm very thankful for that, and I respect him very, very highly. And I love you, Bob. You're deep in my heart, and you're stuck with me for good. I love you.
When we started coming to Lamar Family Ministries Center about 8 years ago, my wife and I, Rhonda and I, had been through so many religious experiences in churches that just devoured you because you had something wrong in your life, something minor. And the biggest thing Bob has done in our lives is to teach us that the small things aren't what matters, it's the condition of the heart. He's helped to develop character that has brought me to where I can serve this house and my Father with excellence. I don't always do everything right, but with Bob helping me and talking to me, he's made it to where I can do the things that I do for this church and to make me a better man, a better father, a better grandfather, and a better husband. So Bob, all I can do is say thank you for all the time you've invested in me to make me that better man that I am today than what I was 8 years ago when I came into this house.
In 1987, I had it in my heart to begin to seriously pray for my daughter's mate. And months passed by, and she came home from her wedding rehearsal one night in Carthage, and she said, "Mom, I met a young man. He's a youth minister at Carthage, and we just really talked a lot about God, and we just clicked." And she said, "He asked me to come down on Wednesday at the next youth group and play the piano for him." I said, "Well, that sounds interesting. That's great." That day she said, "Hey, why don't you and Dad come down and just come to the youth group?" And so we did. And we went to Memorial Hall in Carthage. We sat on the very back row. The hall was packed. We were way at the back. I saw this young man. He led worship. I thought he was a nice looking man. He did a good job leading worship. And I really just kind of didn't think that much about it. But the minute he began to preach, I sat up. Something down in my heart clicked with the voice. When I heard it, something stirred in here, and I sat up. And I peered over all the young people there, looking for his hand. I wanted to see if he had a wedding ring on, thinking, maybe this is the one that I've been praying about. Sure enough, it was. And it didn't take long till the Holy Spirit confirmed it. And what a blessing you have been, Bob. very thankful that you are our son-in-law, that you are the husband of our daughter and the father of our grandchildren. Love you.